everyone, this is Elias from Match Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2025 Genesis GV80 Coupe. Now, I'm not a big fan of these four-door coupes, but this one might have changed that. So let's go ahead and get started. We get started in the front, and we're gonna start with the obvious. The Bering Blue color, yeah, that thing looks awesome. And yes, it's kind of a millennial gray situation going on, but the funny thing is, our previous car that I had to review was a similar shade to this. This is a little bluer, which I kind of like, and it has so much sparkle, and it is very easy to keep clean, because even though I go like this and man, my finger's dirty, it looks clean, it looks pristine. And we've been driving, we pretty much took a whole tank of gas, which was surprisingly like 390 miles, which is nice to kind of have that kind of distance on a tank. But yeah, I love the color. And we take a look at the big grille, which is the Genesis crest, and it is in that black chrome color that I really like. It's like a gunmetal chrome finish to it. We have the Genesis badging right above that. We have the front-facing camera as well, which is for the 360 camera system, which has been awesome. Then we get over to the headlights, and these things are incredible. I love these little cube designs that we get with it. And of course, we have the typical Genesis, like two levels of light, which just look awesome. I love this design that we get. We have nice big opening here for the cooling, because we're gonna need a little bit of cooling. This makes you want to make it go. So yeah, we have some turbochargers in there, and we need to cool it down. Down here, we have more opening. We have the radar system for the adaptive cruise control, and we have a little bit of a lip down there, which has, again, some accents with that kind of black chrome. It just looks really cool. So I love this front end, love the way that it looks. That blue is unbelievable, that millennial gray. So let's go ahead and see what we have under this nicely sculpted hood. We get under the hood, and we have the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 with a 48 volt E supercharger, and it is cranking out 409 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque. Now that is connected to the 8-speed auto and then to the all-wheel drive system. Now, a couple of things with this. So we get two engine options with the GV80 Coupe, and the base model is the 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo system, which that is 375 horsepower and 391 torque. With this one, which is the higher end, we do get that 48 volt E supercharger, basically keeping the turbo in boost, or getting it up to boost a lot faster than it would normally in the other option. And we do get a bump of power. So we do get from 375 horsepower to the 409, and then the torque a little bit, 391 to the 405. Now, as far as drivability, when you have this thing in eco, it behaves and it is nice and smooth. The power delivery is great. But when you're in eco and you floor it to wake it up and let it know, yeah, I gotta go, the supercharger system does kind of turn on and then realize, oh, I got to do stuff. And there is kind of a kick on that you feel of power, and then there is a significant pull after that. So and also in the comfort, you feel a little bit less in comfort, which is their normal mode essentially. And in sport mode, you don't feel that kind of break in or that kind of boost in power, because it's just on. It's like ready to go. It's constantly kind of giving this thing power or boost to go. It almost makes the sport not as fun. Drivability, more like a fun drivable thing, because you kind of get an old school kind of torque, like turbo lag kind of feel to it, which is sometimes a little fun to enjoy. But don't get me wrong, it's still without it. Like prior to the boost kicking in, you still get a good amount of power to get this guy going. But I just felt I was enjoying this system more into eco and into comfort. I think maybe a little bit more into comfort. We were driving a lot in eco because we knew we were gonna drive a lot, so I wanted to make the most out of my MPGs. And that being said though, like I said, if you want to have just more of a lively feel to it, put it in comfort and then just floor it, and you'll see what I mean. It just kind of kicks in, and then that turbo surge is so rewarding. It is so good at the high end, which is rare for a turbo car, especially these days. I feel like a lot of turbos just kind of choke up at the higher RPMs. Not this. It just wanted to keep going, and it switched gear, and wanted to grab the next one, which transmission was great. No issues with that. The all-wheel drive system was also great, whether you were just relaxing and cruising or you were stomping on it and getting the power down. When we review it, we do have the Sport Plus, which takes away the traction control. And let me just tell you, that all-wheel drive system was so confidence inducing. So it is really, really good. But yeah, oh yeah, the sound gets pumped in, or at least it sounds like it gets pumped. Yeah, it does actually get pumped in. And you could tell it's getting pumped in. The only thing with that being said is, yeah, you don't hear the engine as much as you would in, say, like the G70, which was fun to drive. It's more of a driver's car, and this is more of a luxurious feel. So that was kind of the one thing I was missing with this. I wanted to hear the true engine sound, but for the sake of comfortable and luxury and silence, it gets pumped in. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this nice 22-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 265/40 Michelin Primacy Tour all-season tire. Now, we do get big 22-inch wheels, and the design is nice. I love it. We have like a polished face along with some colored inserts or different layers. Gives you a nice little depth to it. Great design, like I said. And yeah, we have the Michelin tires, which have been incredible. Super smooth ride. We do get, you know, nice amount of grip as well if you kind of want to stomp on it. And obviously that all-wheel drive helps to redistribute the power where it needs to. But yeah, no weird road noise, no weird road feel to it as well. We do get the brakes, which have been nice. I mean, the pedal feel is great. It is a big SUV, so I'm glad that we have these nice big brakes on here. Now the suspension, it is electronically controlled, so we do have different levels of it based on the driving mode, and it is really nice. In the eco and comfort, this thing is a blast. It is a dream to just drive. It's soft enough that you don't feel what you don't want to feel, and it is stiff enough that you feel the road and make sure that you are responding to any inputs that need to via the translation of the road and the suspension. So it's really, really good setup. I have been surprised and loving this setup with this. Yeah, no issues, no complaints. Love it. So let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see it's a coupe with 4 doors. Yes, I know. It's just a pet peeve, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way, but it looks really good. I love this, and usually I don't like these like cut off or like truncated coupe versions of these bigger SUVs, but this works, and it's actually, I feel it's more functional than the standard non-coupe or the 4-door version of the GV80. But let's break it down. So we have a pretty big hood. I love the proportions to this. We have a nice big hood. We have the big 22-inch wheels, which you can see we kind of have to go with 22s because of the body size of this thing. And we do have the turn signals here with that little again, that black gunmetal chrome finish to it, which just looks really good. Love the way that that looks. And we follow that down here. We have kind of this like accent blade kind of feel to it, which just looks really good. I love this. Yes, the Bering Blue, the millennial gray, shall we say, just looks good. I really like it. And yes, we do get kind of with the light, and the light's kind of over here, we do get some like that bluish greenish kind of hue to it, so it looks really good. And again, with those black chrome accents, it really reflects in different light, looks really good. And same thing follows with the framing around. We have that kind of black chrome following all around, and I love these lines that we get with the windows, so loving that. We get big doors. We really get big doors in this, so yeah, looks good. Yes, and then we get this kind of line here, which, like I said, I really like, which we'll take a look at. This line here is awesome. I love kind of the intricacies that we get there to have it meet right there. So it looks really good. Loving that. Now, I don't have the key in my pocket, so let me go ahead and grab it off camera. Now, I have the key in my pocket, and I'm gonna go ahead and get near it, and you can see it is automatically sensing that the key is near it, so it moves the mirror, which is, again, part of the 360 camera system, which looks really good. Love the way that that looks. I go ahead and put my hand on the handle, and I open it up, and again, really big doors, really easy to get into. I go ahead and close this off, and I have the little indentation, and I can lock it. One thing though, it wasn't just myself, but my wife also noticed it. The door handles do feel a little cheap. So that's, which is rare in Genesis terms because everything is so high quality materials and finishes. But the door handle does kind of have a little bit of a creak. I don't know if it just feels really cheap plastic, or delicate. It feels like a delicate plastic. I'll say it like that. So yeah, we have that. We can go ahead and lock it, and I go ahead and reach the back, and it also has a sensor, which is nice, especially with kiddos. Hey, go ahead and get in. If you're holding something and you have the key fob nearby, you're able to do that, and they can go ahead and close it for you as well if your hands are full. So loving that. And again, just a big door to get into, which makes things a lot easier. So we'll go ahead and close that off, lock up, and let's go ahead and see what we have in the back of the coupe. Now, I almost forgot, we do have kind of a little bit of a parlor trick, which I got to use today because I backed into a spot, and then the car behind me decided to actually go very close. In fact, they crossed the line, and I couldn't put things in my back trunk. So I did this. So I went ahead and I turned it on. So the vehicle's on, and then I moved it forward. Yeah, so you press the button on here. And I moved it forward so that then I could go ahead. It stops, and I opened up the trunk. This thing is so much fun. And people were kind of looking at it, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's driving by itself. It's a cool thing, and it's easy to, again, if you're having to just pull it forward. And the other thing is the parking cars next to me, or the cars parked next to me, were also super tight. So it was just an overall situation where taking it out just ever so slightly so that I can get in, so I can put the stuff in, was really the ideal situation to avoid dinging the other cars, or obviously being able to put things in the back. But yeah, come here, let's go take a look at what we have here. So we get to the back, and I love this thing because we still have a quirky enough, typical Genesis, like more freedom of design feel to it, but it's still a very predictable design as well, as far as what you would expect with a coupe design, which again, it draws that fine line of just, yeah, being fun, but staying within the box, so to speak. But we have little things like this. So we have this little roof spoiler, which is kind of, yeah, we have, it's very rally-esque feel to it, where we have kind of those two split areas there. Now we have this massive rear glass, but it doesn't feel that way inside, because probably about here is how much you actually see. So probably about half of it. And that's fine with me, because right up there in the right side, we do have a rear view camera. And that thing has been incredible. It's been on the whole time, because as soon as I looked back at that rear view mirror and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna be able to see anything. Boop, flip it on, and we were in business with the camera, able to see really wide, and we do have a good frame rate, so it doesn't feel weird or anything like that. So loving that. Again, the design is really nice. Then we kind of get like a ducktail, which this line just looks really cool. It's awesome. I love this thing. And then we have a little bit of that black trim, that black chrome trim that we get there, with the button to open it up right in there. The taillights are awesome. We have this split taillight design, which just looks good. It lights up really well. It's very iconic Genesis, so loving that. We have the nice big Genesis badge. We have the GV80 all-wheel drive there, and then we have the exhaust tips, which, yeah, it's not the true exhaust tips. These are kind of just frames around it, but we do get dual systems, so they are dual exhaust. This is just a little bit more aesthetically looking, but love this rear end. I really do. I didn't think I was gonna like it in the coupe form, but I think I like this more than the standard GV80. Yeah, that's kind of different for my usual taste, but let's go ahead and see what we have right in here. So you do have the option that with the key fob nearby, if you get close to the back, it will open up. Now, there's been other SUVs that I've dealt with this, and it was a little too sensitive. I think this is just right. It works so nice with, yeah, basically where you need to be with this. We open it up and we get an enormous amount of space, and that is because with the coupe you do lose the third row, so you only have 2-row SUV seating for a total of 5. But I'm okay with that, because the amount of space that we get over the GV80 with the captain's chairs, which I'm not a big fan of. I prefer having the bench, and I prefer having the massive amount of space, which I will say this week I took a ton of clothes that my wife had to donate. We literally were able to fill the entire, put those guys down and fill this entire space. And the guy at the donation goes, wow, this thing is kind of deceiving. I didn't think it would hold that much. And that's again because we have the coupe kind of body style. So yeah, tons and tons of space. Now we do have this, which I kind of regret not having it like this. It's the cover, and I love this cover. First of all, wow, it feels really nice. Second of all, it is really nice to just move it away. It feels super high quality. It is thick as well. And there is a trick to kind of getting this off, and that is you have to kind of pull it towards you, and then, yeah, you do that and you're in business. Yeah, it's that easy to take off, but I love this thing. So definitely glad that we get this with the coupe. And then we have the buttons here, which I'll go ahead and just lower the left-hand side because my kiddo's seat is on the right side, so it won't actually go down. But yeah, this thing is incredible. There is that much space. My book bag is huge. My camera bag is massive. We have the netting there as well. And yeah, we'll go ahead and put this here. And under here, there isn't much though. So we can go ahead and open, and we have a little compartment. So we have the tire kit there, and then we have just more items right in there. So yeah, honestly, I am loving the tons and tons of space that you get with this coupe. Yeah, which is weird because I've been in another coupe and it takes away from the trunk, and the door has made smaller compared to the fuller size one. So loving this. And then just a matter of closing, and it is so impressive. We take a look at the door, and this thing is incredible. First, that ultramarine blue, look at that. The thing is so beautiful. And then we get kind of a carbon fiber pattern here on this. Oh, and we get orange stitching. Now, what's weird about it is now that the sun is hitting it at this kind of, yeah, we'll kind of take a quick peek. Now that the sun is hitting it, this does look more orange, but later on at night it's gonna look more red than orange. But we'll get back to the door, and yeah, loving the stitching. We do have some like brushed aluminum finishes to the door handle. We get the 2 memory seats there, and then we have the window controls. Now, my favorite thing about Genesis is the child lock. So we do have the option of setting the child lock right here at the door, which is so nice because my kiddo is older, but still not old enough that I don't want him to touch the door kind of thing. But it's nice that I can go ahead and lock it while we're driving. We park and I'm able to just unlock it so he can get out himself. He doesn't have to wait for one of us to go ahead and open up the door or I have to go around and open up the door for him kind of thing. So loving that. And yeah, we have very beautiful finishes to the buttons there. And then we get the awesome just kind of finish here with the orange stitching there. Oh, one thing up here, this is very uncomfortable. We kind of lose the, if you kind of see, it goes from flat like this to then giving us a area to rest, except I kind of need it here. So yeah, I was a little uncomfortable, and I wish we had a better section up here because I was having to kind of lay my arm, which felt a little bit too low there. Oh yeah, and the other thing, Bang & Olufsen system, unbelievable. We were blasting tunes in this. We were having a car karaoke. It was just really great sounding system. So loving that. And then the storage is a little bit lackluster, so just kind of be aware of that. There's barely any storage for this here. So yeah, that's kind of what you get with the door though. We get over to the seats, and as you can tell, these things are incredible. I am going to miss this thing when they pick it up because it is just so nice. So first, let's start off with the top. This is so soft. I was just laying my head back on it, and it was like an angel holding my head nice and comfortably. So love the way that this feels, really nice and soft. And then yeah, we get the orange piping and the orange stitching there, which looks great. Then we get the really awesome pattern on the middle of the seats here, which are awesome. And yes, this has venting and this has heated as well. And then we do get some good side bolsters, but they're still taco lover, barbecue lover friendly. So don't be afraid. Even a big guy like myself was definitely comfortable, even though we had those big side bolsters. And then just the comfortability, the positioning has been awesome. There's so much flexibility. Yeah, that little guy kicks out there as well, which has been so nice and so luxurious feeling. It has just been awesome. Speaking about luxury feeling, yeah, we have that, and that means we get massage. Yeah, so you can imagine why I didn't let my wife drive this. I was like, no honey, I'll go ahead, you be a passenger princess, I'll go ahead and drive. Unfortunately, she didn't have it, which yeah, I was like, yeah, you know this has massage seats, right? And she goes, really? And I go, yeah, just press the button. And she couldn't find it, and yeah, kind of my mistake. But unfortunately, only the driver did have that. Now, another thing that I really like about these seats is we do have this. So when I was loading up the car, if I wanted to move the seat back and forth, I didn't have to really, yeah, look at that. With just that button there, I don't have to kind of go reaching over and positioning the seat where I need it to go. Especially if I grab something and I need to kind of just put it right in there. Yeah, really easy. Such a simple thing that it's surprising we don't get this more often. So loving the way that works. But yeah, these seats are just incredible. We take a look at the steering wheel, and this thing is a dream. I love this thing. So first of all, yeah, we have that ultramarine blue color to it, which it just looks different right now that the sun is not hitting it as much. It's going to give you a darker, almost like gray black look to it. So looks really good, and the feel to it is really nice. Now we do get a kind of dimpled middle on the inside there, and I kind of wish this were also on the outside as well, maybe just kind of until basically itself, like right here would have been nice, because it feels really good and it has a good grip to it. So having it on the outside would have definitely been a nice feel to it. But we have the controls here for the gauge cluster, as well as the cruise control system there. And then on the right hand side, we have like the BlackBerry kind of joystick to move different things around, not just the infotainment system, but also the gauge cluster itself. So loving that. And we have kind of like a cheese grater volume knob there, which has been really nice. The orange stitching is just unbelievable. Love this, you know, just different, bold design or bold color choice really for this, and it works. That's the other thing, is it doesn't look cheesy. It looks great in this. That orange and blue just looks so well together, and we get it, yeah, right on the inside, which is just a nice touch. And like I said, oh yeah, and we get kind of a semi-flat bottom wheel design, but loving this thing. We get over to the gauge cluster, and it's nice. So it is one big screen. So if you take a look to the infotainment system, it connects there. And there's a couple of views with this. So we have this view where we get the dual gauges on the side there. And we move over and we have kind of the, you know, system for the cruise control. And then we get the maps. So we do get two maps. We get the map for the Apple CarPlay, as well as the system map itself, which you can see it kind of puts itself towards the right there. But yeah, I'm loving this thing. Now it's a little tricky to kind of remember how to get to the next thing. Yeah, let me see if I can get it to comply. Now if you push and hold the BlackBerry button that I call, you have the option of changing that little panel, and we have like the power distribution, we have the temperature for the oil, the torque, and the turbo delivery, or the amount of power that we get there, tire pressures, and then we switch it over to the auto start stop situation, and yeah, we get like different things there. We switch over, just kind of local stuff in there, and yeah, your infotainment system. So it's nice. It's nice. We do get some different options there, but typically I was just really in this section here. Yeah, majority of the time was there to have fun, or I was just looking at my MPGs for my current trip to see how good I was doing with this eco mode. So, and that's, yeah, we have this eco mode, and then I'll change the drive mode, and we go to comfort, and the gauges do change in color. We get the sport, and we get that awesome option. This is probably my favorite. Yes, they look like lightsabers, and to my surprise, we can rev it pretty high up, which is not usual for these modern vehicles, where it's like it just kind of stays at like 2,000 RPM kind of situation. But no, this will let you go, and then you have the my option, and then the snow setting there. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with the gauge cluster. We get over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is nice, and I think it's too nice, and I'll tell you what I mean. I kept seeing myself touching the screen, and I didn't realize that this has such a great joystick system that we'll take a look at next. But anyways, the system is great. We have the wireless Apple CarPlay, no issues with it. This thing sounds loud. That Bang & Olufsen system is just incredible to kind of work with. And yeah, we have the different options. Basically, you know, the typical Genesis system, which is just incredible. It's a very simple system, very well laid out. Love this thing here. So yeah, really no complaints. But like I said, it's so good that it made me want to use that instead of using this. So we'll just kind of jump over the climate system, and that is because we have this, and it is the joystick, and it is the rotary knob as well. If you take a look, you can kind of spin it, and it changes the different options that you're wanting to choose, or you can go ahead and actually use it for like previous track, next track, by actually moving it. So yeah, we have, it's basically like a rotary knob. It also does up, down, left, right kind of situation. And the other thing, we also have swiping. So we can swipe, and look, it's insane. So if you have, oh yeah, and don't forget, you can also touch the screen there. No one can ever complain about this, because it satisfies the people that want to touch a screen. It satisfies the people that want to turn a knob. It satisfies the people that want to use a joystick. It satisfies the people that want to touch their kind of joystick. It just, yeah, it's so well done. But that's what we get with kind of that infotainment screen system. And then we have the climate system, which has been a dream. It's been so easy. Oh yeah, and we get these shortcuts in case you don't want to use any of these. It just continues. Thank you, Genesis, for understanding we still want buttons, but they don't really have to be like buttons, because we can literally switch it and yeah, have next track, previous track. It's just really well done system. But yeah, we have this climate system, and it is really good. It's literally set and forget, and we do have different levels of auto. So I have my temperature set to 69. It's also in the front and in the rear, because we have a 3-zone climate with this, and we have different autos. So when we typically get in the car, it's hot, so I put it at the 3rd level, which is going to be really loud, and it's just blasting the fan. But it's still, its goal is to get to the 69 degree. Or I can just, you know, once it's kind of gotten there and I want it to kind of cool down, chill out a little bit, no pun intended, I can set it to an auto, but its still goal is to get to that 69 degree. So it's really good. And then we have the venting for the seats, as well as the heated option. We do have the option for ascent as well, which is a nice touch to it, as well as the heated steering wheel button there. But this thing has just been a dream to work with. Now, I had to close this to kind of show this off, but you push there, and then we get the USB-C connection. So we have 2 there, and we have the 12-volt adapter there. And we have the wireless pad here, which I have always praised Genesis for having a raised lip on this, because that's what, guess what? Our phones are not flat. Yeah, comment, yeah, right? They're not flat. They have that little camera, and yes, this is the case, but if I take it out, they still don't lay flat. They have a little bit of that lip there, and that's what this does. It lets you go ahead and literally just put it in there, and watch what's going to happen is that I can literally chuck it, and because it has the little pad, yeah, it's charging. And you can tell it's charging because that is lighting up. So I don't even have to look at my camera, my infotainment screen. I can just see that that little light is lighting up there, and I can tell that it is charging. So love this, and literally just chucked it in there, and I can go ahead and close it, and that's the end of that. And we come back here, like I mentioned, we have more buttons like back, like home, and menu to just really work your infotainment screen. And then obviously, yeah, we have that little guy, which we praise so much. We have the fingerprint scanner situation, which obviously with this being press car, I can't really set it up or test it out. But then we have the gear selector, which is just a rotary knob, which literally, it's so easy to just kind of put it in whatever gear you need it to be. And then we also have the auto hold, which has just been awesome to have this on in this vehicle. We come a little bit over, and we have the drive mode button. We have the camera system. So let's go ahead and we press that. And this camera system is really nice. I love the way that this thing works. And we have the front, so we'll go ahead and see that we can do the top down we can do the sides. So yeah, we can see the wheels turning there, which is a nice touch. Make sure you don't curb the wheels, and then a super wide use of the screen on there. But yeah, this has been really good. Oh, and then we can do the back as well. And yeah, we can see the trajectory of where you're turning is going to result you in being placed, which is always good. And then we have obviously the top down, and then we have the just the rear camera itself, rear tires, which we saw, and then just the wide view of that. And then, oh yeah, this guy, which is just awesome. We can basically see our surroundings on here, which is just so incredible. This system, I almost want to say it's right there with Land Rover, and Land Rover always gets a massive praise from me for their camera system. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with this awesome system. Then we come over to the cup holders, and these have been great for big cups. You also have the little holders for the small cups as well. And yeah, we have a good spacing for the really big Texas size cups. So yeah, no complaint with that. I do have a complaint, and that is the armrest. Although it is very comfortable and nicely ergonomically placed, you're gonna see what happens when you go ahead and open it, and you could basically, yeah, that's it. You could basically only fit like a sheet of paper in here. I would be surprised if I could even close it with a sheet of paper. Yeah, I'm exaggerating, but that's how kind of non-existent or working it is here. But yeah, let's just say it works better as an armrest than it does storage. Now, you guys thought I was kidding about that rear view mirror, but you can see not much. You literally can't see much. But yeah, when you go ahead and you flip this guy on though, you're gonna see a lot more. And yeah, you could see a lot clearer. We actually see an additional one of these trash bins there, where when we went ahead and had it off, we could literally only see one. Yeah, if I were to really kind of give you what I'm seeing, it's just this one and that one there. But we switch this on, and we see significantly more, literally from like here to here additionally, and from here to there, and even up and down as well. So yeah, you're gonna want to basically have this on the whole time to get a better visibility of things. We get to the back door, and this thing is, again, really big, but very comfortable. We do have the softer material up here, and yeah, the backseat driver does get a little bit more of a width kind of sticking out, so they can lay their arm there, or they can lay it obviously on the armrest itself. We have, again, the same finishes with these orange stitching and the beautiful carbon-like pattern that we get there. Nice brushed aluminum finishes. They get spoiled as well with the Bang & Olufsen system back here, whether we get that up there and that down here. But yeah, we're still kind of lacking in storage, so just kind of be aware that you're not going to have much to store on the doors. Then we get to the seats themselves, and first of all, there is a lot of legroom. That is one of the biggest things, and that seat is actually all the way back, and there's still tons of space. The other thing, they get spoiled. They can lay back, yeah, or they can go ahead and move back themselves or forward, yeah, in the rear. So that is nice to have it. Oh yeah, and they can also lift it up a little bit. It's just, I wouldn't care if I were a passenger in this vehicle, put it that way. Now, if you don't want to have that there, you can go ahead and push the button here, and that is going to put the seat down. So that way we can really load up things in the back, and it folds flat. You can see it matches up right in there. And like I said, I was able to fill this whole thing up with bags of clothes to donate, and it was really nice. So we can go ahead and push that back. Now, you guys thought I was joking when I said I wouldn't mind being in the back, and that's because we get this. They get their own climate system, but they get heated and venting in the back here as well. And we have the USB connection down here. We have for 2 USB-Cs, and we have the power connection right in there. Backseat luxuries are really available in this thing, and like I said, I think quality over quantity, so not having that third row, I think makes this the better choice over the standard GV80. We take the GV80 for a drive, and it's nice. So let's go and get driving. So one of the biggest things is this is a more powerful than the standard or the entry level V6 turbo because we have that e-supercharger. Yes, we'll get to that in a little bit. But the drivability, even though you have more power, it's really nice. It's really nice. You don't have to floor it to get that kind of activated because it's just, yeah, it's a great everyday driver. The suspension, that thing is unbelievable. It is so well dialed in. Speed bumps have been no problem. Bad roads have been no problem. It just, everything is really nicely dialed in with this. Except, this thing is really susceptible to wind. Yeah, like I was on the highway or just at higher speeds, and you would think the sleeker roof line would be more aerodynamic, but no, I actually felt like it was just getting pushed around a lot more with the wind. So just kind of be aware of that. And yeah, that causes the steering to be a little kind of on the twitchier side as well when you go to compensate for it. But I mean, I'm the definition of comfortable right now because I have my AC, which has been dialed in so good. Just literally set it and forget it. That 3-speed auto is just incredible. I have the venting going on with the seat, so my back is nice and cool, and it's nice and relaxed too because that massage is just working. The only thing is I wish we could have it for more than, I think, 20 minutes. I'm trying to remember, 20 minutes is the max, so I just wish we had more time and just on. But yeah, I just have to kind of press it again. But this has been incredible to drive. I have been loving it, going to go run errands with it. No complaints. It's just, yeah, you want to go out and drive this. And like I said, for everyday driving, it's great. You know, we're purposely hitting the bumps, and yeah, there's going to be some camera shake, but it just feels so nice that it can absorb all those crazy bumps that we have here. So let's go ahead and have some fun. Now, with this, we do get so right now we're in Eco, which I've been in the majority of the time because I knew we were going to be doing a lot of driving. So yeah, it will kind of pull back on the power a little bit. And we go ahead and switch over to Sport, but we can do Sport Plus, which is going to give us the traction control off. So it's the sport mode with the traction control off, and that's because we have the all-wheel drive system in this. And it sounds like the sound is pumped in a little bit. I know when you don't have it in Sport Plus mode or in Sport mode, it is really quiet in here. So oh yeah, this big boy can really go. And yeah, it can actually it stopped pretty well. I'm just being a little cautious right now because I don't know how heavy this thing is in these sharper turns, but we get the power down, and oh, we get the power down, and it does have kind of a at least in the normal or comfort mode, it does kind of give us a little bit of a, not a lag, but it's just like a little bit of extra burst. I think that's when the turbo really kicks in compared to the e-supercharger getting that turbo going a little bit. But this thing is a blast to drive. Yeah, like I said, the sound is a little artificial, and yeah, we do have a paddle shifters, but we don't have a true manual mode. Wow, that turn-in is so good. It will shift up for you, it won't hold the gear, and yes, I am in the Sport Plus mode, but this thing has been incredible. Let me go ahead and I will drop a wheel. Let's see how we do with the 3-point stop. So here we are, and turn. And yes, it does have a rotary shifter, and I've been loving it. It's been easy. I have been kind of reaching for the column because it reminds me of the Chevy shifter that we have on the column, but yeah, this thing is incredible. I even thought this had four-wheel steering, but it doesn't. It's just that good of just getting this thing rotated. So yeah, love this. Now we've gone ahead and we've set up our race box. Is our telemetry box to read our 0 to 30, 0 to 60. It's a drag timer, and it's also a lap timer. Great little tool, great company to work with. And I'll go ahead and add my link to the description for maybe a little bit of a discount. So yeah, we're set up, and we are in Sport Plus. I'm holding the brake. I'm going to go ahead and load it up. It's holding at 2,000, and we have, oh yeah, okay. So it's funny because the gauges are like in red, and it looks like a lightsaber. So it's pretty freaking cool. Let's go ahead and we'll try that again. So we'll load it up, and away we go. Yeah, so it was an uneventful launch, but it gave me a clean launch. So let's talk numbers. We're dealing with a 0 to 30 in 2.24 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 5.63 seconds. And yeah, that's pretty, yeah, pretty good numbers, considering that this is a big vehicle. And yeah, that V6 with that e-supercharger, I hate to say it, but it's kind of the way to go with this, because if you want to get this thing going, it can really go. And it's just been a blast to feel that power just surge and go and go. And there's no lack of power on the top end too, because I feel like you get kind of like two stages with the turbo. When the e-supercharger just kind of gets it going, we do get a nice linear delivery, and then it kind of like feels like it switches the turbos on, and that happens at like 4,500 RPM. It just goes, and it's been awesome. I love this thing, and to get this thing going in corners, yeah. It's been easy to do. Again, that's if you're deciding to, yeah, get this thing going, and you really don't have to though, because if you just want everyday driving, you put it in eco mode, you put it back in auto shifting mode, fully auto shifting, and this is great. This is great. It's been very composed, very relaxing to drive. It's been incredible. Minus, yeah, the aerodynamic situation with the higher speeds in highway speeds. And yeah, we've got a lot of wind this week, so that might have added a little bit. So if you are a GV80 Coupe owner, let me know if you kind of experienced this. I did read another, after I kind of was experiencing, I was like doing a little bit of research, and someone else did kind of mention it. So I don't know if I'm just being kind of hypersensitive, and so was that publication. But let me know if you kind of feel this way as well. But other than that though, this thing is awesome. Do you need the higher e-supercharger? I don't know. I don't know if you do. But then you kind of do things like this, and you want to. Yeah, like this. Yeah, that power is so addicting. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Genesis GV80 Coupe. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.